Sometimes we have a fraction that is not a decimal fraction. For example, 2/5, that we would like to write as a decimal fraction. And the way to do this isn't obvious, right? But I notice that I can take 2/5, multiply the denominator by 2, and then of course the numerator by also 2, and I'll get 4/10, which is the decimal fraction 0.4, noting again one digit to the right of the decimal point. Not hard. What was the difficult part here? Selecting this 2 to multiply by. Right, because 2 won't always be what we want. Suppose, for example, we want to write 3/4 as a decimal fraction. Here the number we want is 25, believe it or not. Vending machine math tells me 3 times 25 is 75. 4 times 25 is 100. So this is the decimal fraction 0.75. Again, 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. How am I deciding what to multiply by? Well, remember, in a decimal fraction, the denominator is a power of 10. But 10 is 2 times 5. That means if we take the prime factorization of a power of 10, we'll get 2 appearing as many times as there are zeros, and 5 appearing that same number of times. That tells us how to get our denominator to be a power of 10. We're going to start by writing our fraction in lowest terms, just so we can work with numbers that are as small as possible and avoid any potential complications. Then, we're going to look at the prime factorization of the denominator. If it contains primes other than 2 or 5, we can't write this fraction as a decimal using this method. So the prime factorization of our denominator has to contain only the prime numbers 2 and 5, which are the factors of a power of 10. If the prime factorization of our denominator has more 2's than 5's, we'll multiply by an appropriate power of 5. If, on the other hand, the prime factorization of our denominator has more 5's than 2's, we'll multiply it by an appropriate power of 2. All right, let's see an example. Let's suppose we want to write 51/60 as a decimal. Well, first we need to make sure that our fraction is in lowest terms. But I see that 51 is a multiple of 3. 5 plus 1 is 6. And 60 is certainly a multiple of 3. So we can simplify this. 51/60, well, that'll be 3 times, I'm not sure what, over 3 times 20. 51 is what times 3? Well, 3 goes into 5 one time. 3 goes into 21 7 times. So 51 is 3 times 17. Cancel the common 3, and we're left with 17/20. Now we're going to look at the prime factorization of 20. 20 is 2 times 10, and 10 is 2 times 5. So 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. I see more 2's than I do 5's. In particular, I see one more 2 than I see 5's. So I'm going to write 17/20 is 17 times 5 over 20 times 5. Again, choosing to multiply by 5 to the first in order to get one more 5 in there. So we'll multiply 17 times 5, 35, 5, 6, 7, 8, 85, 20 times 5, well, that's 2 times 5, followed by 1 0. Indeed, we have a decimal fraction. This is, well, 8, 5. I want 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, and a 0 before the decimal point because it looks nice. We get that the fraction 51/60ths is equal to the decimal 0.85. I'm going to give you one of these to try now. Write 7/8 as a decimal. Pause the video and try this now. Alright, well, 7 is a prime number. It's not a factor of 8. So 7/8 is already in lowest terms. Looking now at the prime factorization of 8, 8 is 2 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the third power. We'll want to multiply by 5 to the third power. Why 5? Why the third power? Well, because I've got 3 2's and no 5's. Alright, what is 5 to the third power? Well, it's 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So it's 125. We're going to take each eighth and split it into 125 equal parts. Let's see. 125 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16, 17. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 125 times 8. We can work out what this ought to be, but just to make sure that we've done this correctly, we should actually do the multiplication. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 8 times 1 is 8, 9, 10. We have 875 over 1,000. What decimal is this? It's, well, 875. We have 1, 2, 3 zeros in the denominator. We want 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal point. 0.875 is the decimal that is equal to 7/8.